Well, hello there. Thanks for joining me. It's a windy day, so I apologize for any wind noise that's on the camera. I was hoping to get here before the wind, but that just was not possible. It started at sunrise and has been building ever since. I am on top of Observatory Hill in Margaret County, Wisconsin. That's in the township of Buffalo, the rural town of Buffalo. And Observatory Hill is a outcropping, actually it's a pillar that stands some 300 feet or so above the glacial plain below us. It is made up of volcanic rhyolite with a good proportion of feldspar. Give you a shot of the view from Observatory Hill. That was looking pretty much south. And off in this direction is the former farm of Daniel Muir, father of John Muir. And it's an interesting story. A grain broker from Scotland leaves his home country to become a farmer in the New World. Much of the desire to move, I believe, was for the practice of religion. Daniel Muir was a Calvinist, a disciple of Christ, and was looking for religious freedom. He found it. However, his religious devotion did create some strife with his eldest son, John, and that's all history. You can read about that. But in 1849, Daniel Muir takes off to America with 3 of his children. I believe there were 7 at that time. John being the eldest male. The children are ranging in age from 8 to 13 roughly at the time of the move. John himself is 10. He becomes 11 on the trip over. 1849, they wander into, through some direction of others they meet along the way, Marquette County, Wisconsin. Daniel obtains 160 acres, 80 of which abut a lake, a glacial kettle lake, which becomes known as Fountain Lake, at least during the Muir's occupation of the land. Fountain Lake gets its name from the bubbling fountain springs that are found in the sedge meadow just upstream from the lake that feed it. And by fall of 1849, the Muirs have built into the wilderness a oak shanty to live in, various outbuildings for the soon-to-be animals, corrals, and the wind. And by November of 49, the rest of the family joins them. The frame house made of white pine is completed. And the first winter sets in. The soils in Marquette County are not the richest, the most fertile, and that farm, like many others, saw a decreasing abundance of fertility from subsequent seasons. Crop rotation wasn't practiced, so sorry, we missed that flight of cedar waxwings and finches. And ultimately, the 80 that John writes so much about and for much of his life tried to preserve transfers to various other owners. The Ennis brothers at one point own it, and now the lake has subsequently been known as Ennis Lake. So Fountain Lake is now Ennis Lake if you're looking on maps. But in the mid-1960s, the property slowly was reverted back to the county of Marquette and lay pretty much dormant, allowed to naturally restore to what it is today. There is a county park, a larger county park, which is roughly 162 acres. Almost all of the original 80 acres, except for 17 or so of the home site, are now public property. The sedge meadow, the corner of the lake, actually the entire park property wraps around the lake. And there is a section of the Ice Age Trail around the lake. Okay, I'm getting blown off by the wind, and you probably can't hear any of this. So I am going to get off this hill and give you some shots as I descend down Observatory Hill. Just to orient you, behind me and on this summit is a glen of red cedars growing in the rather thin acidic soil. Down below is a oak savanna. At least that is what is being attempted to be restored on the site, is an oak savanna, which is a prairie and widely spaced oak. So we'll give you shots of that, and then we will take a walk over. It's roughly 4 or 5 mile walk over to the John Muir Memorial Park. We'll see you in a bit. Hello, welcome back. I am still at the summit and in a red cedar glade, part of the red cedar glade up here. Just thought I'd give you a shot of it and a peek through at the valley below. Alright, so there's the cedar glade giving way to the oak savanna. And you can see this area has been logged. The stumps are still there. Slash is actually pretty light, and that's the intent, is to keep the slash very light. Really open it up, allow the grasses to grow. More of a prairie habitat. Buffeted by a little bit of snow right now. The sun has gone away and the clouds have come over, but I am standing on the southern edge of the northern 80 acres of ultimately the farm expands to the east from here, ultimately becoming from 160 acres to 320 acres. This piece of property, which is still being farmed, is actually owned by the Ice Age Trail Alliance, and it abuts the southern 80 acres of the Daniel Muir farm, Fountain Lake farm. So we're going to go up. The original placard, the National Historic Landmark placard that I showed you, is on the entrance to the still private 17 acres where the original Muir home site was. Now that All of the original buildings are long since gone. The pine frame house burned sometime around 1900, so it lasted about 50 years. And shortly after World War II, 46-47, a small frame house was built roughly in the same location. But that, as I said, is on private property, and we won't be going there. So the lilac bushes behind me are roughly the site of the original log shanty while they worked on the frame house. And the frame house would have been behind those maple trees, roughly where the current house stands today. I don't have the same vantage point as Muir did when he did his sketch of the meadow and the creek. That would have come from the barn roof. But there's the meadow. And there is Ennis Lake. A little better view of the sedge meadow with the snow falling down, middle of May. Little ridge, and then Fountain Lake would be over on the other side of that, and we'll meander over there. See you in a bit. Better bring the zoom back down. A couple great blue herons and some ducks. Sedge Meadow Spring. Another exotic invasive species, the honeysuckle, that was brought during the Dust Bowl in an attempt to stabilize soils that were overly dry. They've sort of spread to woodlands with reckless abandon. At Observatory Hill, the invasive there is obviously garlic mustard. I think I got some pictures of that, I'm not sure. But the garlic mustard is everywhere. It's very thick. And hopefully with the thinning of the oaks, we'll get enough sunlight in there to bring back some native plants and get that garlic mustard under control. And we're going to come up over top of this little knoll, and we'll be able to see the Fountain Lake in all its glory. Alright, so there's the edge of the sedge meadow, and that leads into Fountain Lake. Well, that's it for today. It's become really too windy to attempt any more filming. We'll save exploration of the park for another day. So take care, hope all is well, and perhaps I'll see you again.